Your hand counting. Okay. Hello, guys. Welcome to the sixth episode of the UXClinic. My name is Jorge Simons. I'll be hosting today. I just want to remind you before we start that we have amazing content for you at uxclinic.nearsift.com. You can find great infographics, sort of the do-it-yourself kind of thing. If you're into that, full episodes on demand from all the previous 5 episodes, and full reports if you want to try it at home. So now that that's said, let's go straight into introducing a new set of people today. We have a special guest today, Andrew Whitcomb. Welcome.
Thanks, Jorge. Thanks, everyone. Hello, my name is Andrew Whitcomb, and I'm excited to be wearing a blue set of headphones today and joining you all at Nearsoft. It's really exciting to be here. I'm currently a PhD candidate at the University of Gothenburg in Sweden, and I happen to be doing my research on design methods and the way that people collaborate in kind of large, complex projects. So I was invited to kind of join and talk about methods today with you all, and I'm excited to be part of the conversation. So thanks for having me.
Thanks for being here. We have a long runner too, the queen of all UX. That's Marisol Ortega. Welcome back, founder, queen of UX.
Thank you, Jorge. Yeah, apparently they let me wear the crown again. Last time I wasn't able to, so I'm pretty glad that you're letting me do this. I'm just a little bit of my background. I just finished a master's in graphic design in the U.S. in North Carolina State University, and it was based on design research and how that affects user experience, or how you can use design methods to improve user experience. So that's the building blocks of the whole UXClinic initiative, and also how we are running right now the design team here at Nearsoft.
So great to have you back, and the geeky guy with the research abilities. He's the great stalker, basically. Misael Leon. Welcome back, Misael.
Thank you, Jorge. It's great to be here, and that was a great introduction. Thank you for that. And let me tell you a little bit about myself. I've been around for 12 years working on different fields such as marketing, advertising, web design, and now becoming a UX designer. And that's why I always been interested in human behavior and how to translate that into amazing visual experiences.
So just act natural if he's looking your way. I'd like to welcome back Miguel Medina, who's also a partner here at the UX Clinic. He's been out on vacation in some island in the Caribbean, but he's back. So welcome back, Miguel.
Thank you, Jorge. Well, I'm Miguel Medina, and a little background about myself. I have 4 years of experience working as a web designer, and recently I've been working with UX, and well, I'm glad to be back. Thank you.
Awesome. And last but definitely not least, we have Andrew Miller from OLSET. We'll be calling him Andres today because we have two Andrews. So go right ahead and introduce yourself, man, and tell us a bit about OLSET.
Okay, I'm Andrew. I'm a marketing and early stage startup growth guy. And OLSET is a big data personalization technology focused on the travel industry. So we partner with existing travel websites and us to personalize travel booking experience.
One of the interesting things about the OLSET case for, in terms of research, is the part of productivity apps that you can connect with Evernote, for example. So that was a different kind of challenge for a design team. And I'll kick it off by asking them, how was this different from previous episodes? I mean, was it a bit harder to interview possible users?
Yeah, so when we first have our conversation with Andrew and what they were doing at OLSET, he told us about this integration between OLSET and Evernote, and we thought that was really interesting, and that we really wanted to dig deeper on how that was done, and make this comparison of how they are doing it right now and how users are planning their trips. So with like, even if they are not using Evernote or OLSET or any of that kind of services, so we went and interviewed some people that they are planning their trips, and they are using different tools like online and offline tools. So there's this guy who is actually using Evernote, and then there's this other person that is using physical folders because he thinks that he wants to have access at all times. So we wanted to have a wide range of different types of users and how they organize information, and that's why we went with them and used this method called contextual inquiry.
I remember from previous episodes, you guys telling the audience that it was really important to be where the action is happening, be it the home or the office. You become sort of from researchers to home invaders, I guess. But I'll let Andrew Whitcomb talk a bit more about contextual inquiry and why is that important.
Yeah, thanks, Jorge. I think that's I mean, it's really interesting. I think part of the UX clinic as a learning tool for people getting into UX research, contextual inquiry is a really interesting method because rather than kind of being a passive observer and just watching what people do, you're actually sitting there right next to the person as they're going through kind of booking their travel. And it really challenges you to kind of move beyond your assumptions about how people book travel or do a certain kind of go through a customer journey. And you're, being right there, you're actually an active participant in the interview, so you can actually ask questions about some very mundane details that somebody might kind of not really pay attention to if they're explaining something in a survey. But you can actually pick up on things that can lead to really great insights for, developing a new user experience or a new UI. So I think it's a really good method, and it challenges the UX researchers to actually be involved in the interview. So I would definitely recommend it, giving it a try.
Exactly, and actually we got a pretty good amount of information and insights from the users, and we needed a way to somehow organize all that information and translate it into eventual feature design. And for that, we run this session that is called affinity diagram, in which we were looking for emerging patterns of behavior that would be easily translated, as I said, to design features.
Well, what we did was basically synthesize all that information and categorize them and find a relationship between ideas to translate that, as Marcelo said, to featured or key insights. And one of the most important things that we found is that when choosing a hotel, the users are very attracted by the price or location, and how they decide by how the users give reviews of it.
Right. That type of information allowed us to reduce the amount of steps of users getting the first hotel suggestion. Currently, they have to go through 13 steps in order to get the first suggestion, and we managed, with the insights that we got from the interviews, to reduce that into only 4 steps that we are going to discuss now. And the first one is this landing page that you can see on screen. We feel that this is a very important step during the journey, and we should make this page strong enough so they can communicate the benefits of the service.
Yeah, basically what we did here on the landing page, you can see the before and the after. Before they were using, also was using this strategy of encouraging users to sign up and having the opportunity of winning a big prize. And we switched that strategy into more like explaining very clearly how the service works and what are the perks from signing up for the service. And also we some of the things, or one of the most important insights that we got from the users, is that they need to build trust on the service in order to sign up. So we wanted to show it in 2 different ways. The first way is letting them know that the service will take care of their information and they won't use it for some other things, or they will only use the information that is related to trips and not their credit cards or some other sensitive information. And also having a more direct connection with other users and how they can have it, like through having testimonials, we can have like a feedback from other users so they can build trust of, okay, this is a service that the real people actually use.
Yeah, and another way to build trust is showing testimonials of real users, and to create an emotional connection with with the user. And by by this I mean like in the example, you see a picture of a guy having fun with her family in the hotel and having a real nice experience, and then you have you will feel more encouraged to use this after you see the testimonial of this guy.
I guess trips and especially productivity apps like Evernote are really like intimate or related to everyday life things of users, maybe pictures of their kids or even financial information. So it would be very important to really set the rules of the game at this point.
Exactly. The best way that you're going to have the trust of the users is if you explain really well what your service is going to do, and especially what's going to do to the information stored on Evernote. So on this landing page, you have to be smart enough to communicate that, and eventually they're gonna do the transaction, and they're gonna go through to this authorization screen. And this also is a very important part, because one user during the interview told us that his whole life was on Evernote, so he's not going to trust any app to have access to the information. He wasn't. He want to be clear that what they're going to do with your notes. For instance, on this screen, you can see that it says it's going to retrieve notes. He might want to know exactly what kind of notes you're going to have access to.
So yeah, our recommendation here will be just to be a little bit more clear of what kind of notes you're going to access. You're also saying that you'll be able to update notes, and the users might be concerned of what kind of notes you're updating. But maybe if you say, okay, we are updating or we're creating notes to give you these travel recommendations, and these are the notes that we will update, and we're not going to update any other notes. And just have a very clear use of the language that you're having in the authorization screen. That will help the users to trust OLSET and to give them access to their Evernote accounts.
Yes, and eventually he's going to grant access, and he's going to be directed to this welcome screen. This is a major proposal for you guys. So instead of going back to OLSET, we are thinking to remain on the Evernote application or desktop version, and having a note that's going to explain really clear how the service is going to work. See that we are not asking them to fill any travel preferences just yet. We are thinking better to have him experience the service first in order to be acquainted with more.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and
Go
sorry,
ahead.
go ahead. Okay. And we'll have a nice a feature that it will let the user try it for itself. He'll just have to write where he's going and tag OLSET, and within a few seconds he will have a notification with the hotel suggestion with an amount of percentage of a match, which is kind of very low at the time. But he will have the opportunity to make the result a little better by filling more hotel preferences.
Yeah, so before, the first step after you sign up is to receive a note from OLSET. That will be the first note that OLSET generates, and that will be instead of, like before that, it was an email. And then the user will be able to test it by themselves, and once they edit that note, they will get this screen with the match. And as Miguel said, you will be able to improve the accuracy or the percentage of how well this match is done with the recommendations if you start adding a new travel preferences. So this is the first point where we are asking the users to come up with or tell us to fill out their profile. And this is a way just to give them some feedback before they have to give something else, because they're trusting in you, and they're connecting their accounts. They're like that's their first step for them, and then you're giving something back. It's a recommendation. It's not the best recommendation, but it's because you need to work together. The user has to work with you, and the user has to give you some information, and then you'll be able to give them back a best result. So this is like a kind of like a give and take process.
Exactly, and we are pretty confident that if you do this, you're gonna have the users engage with your servers before you ask them to fill out any preferences. And the first one that we are asking them to fill out is one that is particularly important, and we realized this during the interviews. They kept mentioning that they have a budget to meet, so we are thinking that the best thing to do is to ask them about how they feel about the price range and the numbers of stars that they want in a hotel. So this is going to be the only piece of information that we are going to ask them for the first time in order to get a second hotel recommendation. And in the progress of the best match is going to be clearly noted at the top as a way to inform the user that in order to get the 100% perfect match, he's going to have to go and fill out the rest of the preferences.
Yeah, so you get a second recommendation, and you can see how the the percentages increase now, and that could be an ongoing process, or maybe they'll do it some other time. So it's giving them a little more flexibility on how and when to set up their travel preferences.
Right. You give the user 100% control of their process, but the difference here is that you have the users already engaged, and I think that's the keyword for this project that we did. Engagement. It's really important to have the users engaged first, and this whole process is we can say that can be summarized on this one single document that gives name to the episode, Scenario Swimlanes. But I'm gonna let the expert to tell more about it.
Am I the expert? Oh, okay. So yeah, just again, going back to the educational side of things on these kind of methods. So the scenario Swimlanes, I think, is a really great deliverable for UX research because it tries to connect the user experience, all the research you guys did up front, with some of the back-end things that need to happen on OLSET side in terms of the business process and the tools and systems and the requirements that you need to set up as a company. So for people just getting into UX research, I think that scenario Swimlanes are a really great way to try and package everything together, and then you can hand it over, and hopefully it'll be useful for OLSET for you guys to communicate internally and then also kind of share that with other people in a very kind of quick and concise way. So I would definitely recommend it, and I would definitely recommend that people take a closer look because there's a lot of information, but you can access it really quickly. So yeah, really nice job.
Great. So let's sum things up, and we have some final takeaways that summarizes the thing that we have been discussing. And we could say that you should let other people validate your service by using testimonials, as you see on the landing page. That's the best way that you're going to have users trusting you in the first place. So another way to have them trust you is being really clear about what your service is about in small steps, and also be really clear about what you are going to do with the information that is stored on Evernote, because as we learn, they have everything on there, so they don't want to expose that information just to anybody.
Yeah, and then also, well, what we talk about initially having these 13 steps, and then compressing into less amount of steps, just as a way to minimize and getting them started right away. So having the first hotel recommendation as soon as possible, and even though it's not the best one, it's like going towards that, and it's letting users know that there's a series of travel preferences they have to set up in order to accomplish that 100%. But they know that it's a work in progress, but it's already happening. And that way, it's just a way to reinforce this feedback loop between the users and the system. And then the last takeaway or recommendation that we have for you guys is just engage users and ask later. So this is tied with the part of minimizing the number of steps. If you give them something right away, then then you engage them, and then you are slowly alluring them into your system, into your service, and then they will see how the results are improving over time.
So that's a lot of information from talking to different potential users and creating a new process. I think this is really good, but let's not take my word for it. Let's go back to Andres now to see what he thinks. And could this work with your site, with OLSET?
I am really blown away, actually, yes. So let me go on a point-by-point basis. So obviously, totally agree with social recommendations. I mean, we all know that we go to Facebook and ask our friends if they like something before we even go check a review site. So, you know, even if you don't know that person, you know, the picture of Rob, and I don't know this guy, but I feel like I know him, and I think that I definitely agree with that. The second aspect of, you know, we had a really simple landing page because, you know, we wanted just one clear, concise call to action, and we were worried about if we put a bunch of information there, maybe they'll read about it and say, you know what, this isn't for me. So, you know, it's particularly in my experience, a vague landing page actually gets more conversions. But I definitely agree that if we explain more information, they'll be able to understand why they need to give us more before they get the absolute best result. So that's definitely something I agree with. Can we go back so I can see the third and fourth point again?
Sure.
No?
Yes.
Okay. So, yes. So obviously, I'm not the technical end, but I believe that we could definitely work on minimizing the number of steps. That first note that you guys made back looks amazing. I'm not sure of the technical implications of being, if we're inside of the note they could actually enter that stuff, but that is really impressive, and I definitely agree that minimizing the amount of friction before they get some kind of result, even though the result might not be exactly what they want. And we've gotten some feedback from users where if the result's not great in the beginning, they go away. But I think, again, if we have more clarity up in the front and we explain to them, then that problem will be diffused a little bit. So, no, I definitely agree with all of the points. I'm really impressed.
Any questions you have for this, guys, before we leave? Is it all set? All set? Then we're all set. Before we say goodbye, is there any last message you guys want to share with our audience?
Yes, I just want to thank our participants. They were super helpful in their interviews. And just a quick invitation to all of if anyone is watching and they want to participate in the UXClinic, just to apply. We're always accepting applications, so just go to uxclinic.nearsoft.com, or you can drop us a line at uxclinic@nearsoft.com, and maybe you will be the next on our next episode or upcoming episodes.
That's nice. So I would like to send an invite to all the viewers to get the report if you want to conduct your own research using this scenario Swimlanes or any other method that we have done in the past. Just go to our website and get the report to have the full breakdown of this process.
And I'll just pop in here quick and say thank you guys very much for having me. It was really a pleasure working with you all, getting to partake in the UXClinic, and I hope I can come back in the future and join you again. So thanks again.
You may definitely come back. Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
No, I just want to echo other Andrew's sentiments and say you really, really appreciate your time. I mean, you did an amazing amount of work, and we're definitely going to be tapping you for advice on how to implement a lot of these things. Really appreciate your time. Thank you very much.
No, thank you. And I guess that's all for us today. You heard it from everyone in the panel. You need to go to uxclinic.nearsoft.com, and we'll see you in 3 weeks' time for another show. For now, we're all set. Bye.
Bye.